Okay, here we are going to learn about the sample practical the assignments what the students have to prepare. What I'm going to do is that I'll share with you the one of the case study which is prepared by students, and this is part of the class assignment what we are expecting you all to do it. This is a hands-on experience, is very important for you to complete and undergo this basically hands-on experience and come up with this or maybe better than this documentations. Here the student has used the same. It is called a project online banking solution for ANISAN Bank Limited. Okay, although I have asked him not to do it, but still, you know how it is, they do. But why I've taken this, the reason is he has basically come up with a better design and the documentation. Although the document may look little bit distorted, or the lines here and there, but otherwise the content wise this document is really good. And if you see, this document was, I think somebody has prepared in 2013. Yes, about 5 years ago or something. Okay, so this is now, if you see, no, 15, it looks like a 15. Okay, a project online banking solution, and he is written here. This document is presented to ANISAN participant for their reference for their project work, and this is whatever he wanted to write, he's written, and copyright of this one. Okay, so, but if you see look and feel is where he has copied the logo and put that together. Okay, so here is a table of content. He has not, he just listed them instead of basically creating automatic table of content. Okay, now let's basically go through that. He has put the executive summary, a proper executive summary, if you see here in detail. And this is slightly different than what we have provided in the book. And then he's presented the business case. Okay, so the business case analysis team, so who are the team who's going to assess them? So then here are the people: the executive sponsor, technology support, process improvement, project manager, software support, and their description, what did each of them do, and what's the title basically. Then if you see the project overview, it is mentioned here, the bank, and these are the features basically: view online bank, online statement of accounts and summary, online transfer of funds, request for checkbooks and demand draft and other services, and so on and so forth. Okay, and project milestone is mentioned here: project charter, project plan, review and completion, project kickoff, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 completion, and then last is a closeout and project completion. So this is a very systematic way he has presented the project milestone, right? And then presented the cost versus benefit analysis. In this section, cost versus benefit analysis is presented, what are the possible earnings, and he calculated clearly in the Excel sheet, although it is not provided, and the description and the basically first year cost and the net earnings. This is supposed to be earnings actually, cost versus earning. Okay, and his implementation of the online banking service is estimated to result in net earnings of $70,000 over the 5 years timeline. Okay, I think there's some the problem is there, looks like. Okay, the reason is that this is a cost he's talking about, and this is a earning. Okay, so that's the basically profit he's talking about. Okay, but here it could have been more elaborated in terms of like how we have done the features, and each features what is the estimated earnings will be there over a period of time, and what is the total earnings. Like if you remember, we have calculated the fund transfer, and if we charge $2 for each transaction, or 1% of each transaction, and number of transaction, hypothetically number of customers doing number of transaction per year. So that's based on that calculations we have basically came up with the estimation that was much detailed and more realistic actually. So you could basically use a similar kind of the calculations and present here. This is very high level and it's a bit of a confusing, but just it looks good in the document. That's what I'm just showing you. And here the approval, if you see the who have given the provided the approval, their name and designation and the date of approval. Okay, so that's one document. Then second document, if you're talking about, it is a high level business requirement. You see how they're mentioned here, the project name, program manager, project manager, sponsor, and approval date. These are the requirement. What is the requirement and how it is mentioned. If you see here, account detail, login, online fund transfer, all of them they put together in a very high level. And here this is additional requirement and this is the approval. Okay. Let us go to the next level. If you see here, the requirement attributes, he has used the same he has used the book, ANISAN book, and come up with the requirement attributes, right? So all he has basically completed each here. If you see, the requirements are listed and information is provided. So this is the way we expect you to basically complete. Okay, the standards, if you see, the neat and clean job, and it's more presentable, and the notes are provided. Okay, so we cannot expect everyone every reader to understand, so these are additional details have been provided. Then comes to the process diagram. So if you see the process, what are the activities are there, and then success criteria, exception, and actors, who are the actor. So it's very simple and nice way it is created. Like a first one is new customer, submit the account opening form with iBank form, and existing customers submit iBank form. So it is, if it is a new and existing customer, right, then it is a verify and forward. So this is how the what we call created the process diagram. Success, refer to activity 2. If it is successful, refer to activity 3. So it is going to different stage, right? So update the delivery status, end of the process. If it is not delivered, refer to the activity 11, and that's the 11 is end of the process. So it is again success and failure, both the criteria have been captured. Okay. And if it is, and again similar way, these other processes have been captured. This is a login one, and here is very systematic way created a diagram. Let me just this is an overview. I'm going to increase the size now. Here it is. I hope it is legible a little bit. Online access, if you see customer, just a bit of a, okay, so we'll try to read as much as customer, and then what is his role, and in front office and the back office, and then your core banking, and then you have his printing and dispatching, right? And then this is how it is. So these are the processes have been captured and interlinked using the swim lane, and here it is. So everyone will know what is their role within the processes. Okay, and this is how it has been created. You can use the click chart and create that. Then comes to other business process flow. This is for login, right? Very neat job basically. The document has moved actually for some reason. If you see here, this one is traceability matrix. All the requirements are listed here, features and the requirement description, and this actually it should not be traceability, it should be called as a requirement attributes. But anyway, in this case they have aligned the requirement with the code module and the test cases. So you know how the requirements are associated, right? The requirement BR001 is associated, the use case is VCA001, code will be code 001, and then you will have TCOBF001. Like that, they have basically compiled all the data and helping you to create the traceability. So you can basically trace the requirement or the code or the use cases or the test cases. So this is the various ways you can basically present, and this is if you see what we have learned, the traceability in the book is slightly different than here. So you can use a different a theme or a different way of representing the data. That's fine. Again, the business analysis is again both creative as well as the technical, both it is. Okay. Now let me go to the next level. Here it is a business requirement document if it is created, and this is the document information and version, and then the table of content here, the introduction, project background, all these things are listed here. And then here it is the introduction, project background, system scope, all of them are written very systematically. And then it comes to the reference, provided some reference document, business users information. Okay, if you see business user, location, subject matter expert, all these things what we discussed while creating the stakeholder list, all of them basically have been captured well. Okay, so and when you go to the next level, if you see here, definition and acronyms, and then you have is a business requirement at the high level. And if you go to this level, it is giving you the system architecture, the presentation layer, what it will look like, application layer, what it will be there, and data layer, what how it will look like. So the person came from a little bit of a technical background, and this is how he has presented. I don't remember who was a student, but yes, he was the practicing business analyst, and he could basically come up with this idea. But if you see here, the he's used the Word document in order to create all the artifact, and that's the problem actually, when the document keep moving. And you see here, so it just looks, although it is neat, but then the lines may you find they're not aligned. Okay, so that way it is. And if you see here, list of the business requirement under the scope for the project, and he has listed all those requirement properly. Okay, and then he's created the BRD, business requirement. If you remember, he used the same structure what we provided and added all the details. Okay, one by one he created, I think you see, one, two, three requirement. This is the fourth, fifth, very neat job actually, sixth, seventh, eight requirement. Okay, a lot of work. Okay, now alerts, he has created alert services. What kind of alerts will be there? Functional requirement. Okay, and then he's created the online feedback after each session. So this is a again additional requirement. Then your assumption and constraint. Okay, and then you have here is a requirement, constraint, and dependencies. This part again is a part of the BRD document. Then you see here functional requirement document is just added. All this is a table of content, purpose, document convention. The main audience of the documents are reference, the assumption and constraint, few of them, quite a few of them listed. And then methodology. See, this is not in the book, but he has added those here. And complete development perspective, he has mentioned very well about described the development perspective. Okay. Then functional requirement, context, data flow diagram. Let me see if it, yeah, data flow diagram is created. He's created slightly different, but this is okay. This is much acceptable. Okay, and I'm sorry, it may look shabby to you, but this should be okay. He's used this. If you see here, it looks like an Excel file. Okay, and this is how he has relationship he has created. You may, the tables looks okay, you may create slightly better relationship. Okay, and functional requirement, see here how nicely written, input, output, new password. Okay, data format, dependencies. Why I'm showing you that when we say that we need an assignment, so there is very confusion about what is expected. So this is a bare minimum expectations. So this is actually, if you do this much, it becomes easier for you to basically work in the real life situation. Okay, so these are the requirement. All the requirements are listed. I'm sorry, this breaking all these tables, because the formatting keeps changing in the Word document actually. Interface requirement, hardware requirement, a software interface requirement, security, privacy requirement, audit trail, reliability, system capacity, data retention, and archival policy. Okay, so and then use case. If you see, he's created a use case. This is again online banking solution, high level use case is created. Login, personal details, and fund transfer. And if you see, it is slightly different than what we showed in the book. That is fine. Then you may have is a detailed use case here. Okay, like this. But very neat job. That's what I intend to tell you. And use case, these are all templates. He's created, I think, 10 of them. I expect at least 3. Here it is slightly wrong, but anyway, it doesn't matter. The lines finally. Now let's see the activity diagram. He has created the activity diagram here. I think there are more. The second one, and this is a class diagram, okay, based on what we discussed yesterday, and then that's the end of it. Okay, so this is basically what we expect every student to basically produce, and this is a quality and also the content. If you see, he has created almost 66-page document. Okay, so this basically covers most of the business analysis artifacts. I wouldn't say all, but most. Okay, that's it.